It is episode 324 of the Spanish Announce Table. Tom looking crisp and cool over there. Tom looking hot. If I do say so myself, it's hot.
Thank
Tom.
you. Yeah, hot Tom.
Already. Hot Tom. We've got a lot to talk about. Mainly this over here. This Britt Baker. We'll talk about AEW Dynamite. We will talk about WWE Fastlane and some predictions. Tweet the tables, emails. What are those? Oh, tweet the table. You know what emails are, but tweet the tables are a fun interactive segment that you can play with us, where you get to tell us what you thought about wrestling, and we'll comment on that. More on that later. But go to Twitter, use hashtag tweet the table with your wrestling thoughts in the interim. Tom, what's new?
Well, hey, man, as you can tell, I look a little different. I've been investing back into the podcast. So got some new setup here. I'm doing it for the listeners. I'm doing it for the viewers. Actually, I'm also doing it for the listeners as well. Got a new microphone set up here. So hopefully you guys can tell a difference there. And as you can tell, I hope by watching this on YouTube, you can tell a visual difference.
Yeah, you might be able to. Yeah. That's good.
Putting some effort back into the podcast. Been getting some feedback, which has been great. So thank you guys for doing that. Hashtag tweet the table and tableshow@gmail.com. So yeah, I've been kind of reinvesting my time and energy back into this, the Spanish Announce Table Nation, Table Nation as it is. So having fun doing that. But also, Tim, I wanted to let you know, and I told you about this off air, but I'm going to tell you again. Got a new energy drink that just hit the markets here in the great Kansas City metropolitan area. So I decided to pick it up. Wrestling fans may be familiar with this new energy drink. It is called Zoya. Zoya is made by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? I like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Or DJ, as some people call him. But I'm going to call him "The Rock" to
you
us.
Call him that?
Yeah, I was DJ. No. I'm going to call him The Rock. He is The Rock to us. He will always be The Rock, Rocky Maivia. But I am going to try his new energy drink. I got it this morning. Then I decided, you know what? Hey, let's have some fun on Spanish Announce Table. Longtime listeners and longtime viewers will know I like to try a bunch of wrestling gimmick cereals or beers, or in this case, energy drinks. So I figured let's keep it going. And I'm going to try I have here
I'm excited.
Wild Orange. And then I have also the Super Berry. Now there's a third flavor called the Pina Colada, but complete transparency, I hate that flavor in anything. I bet if people like that flavor for this, it's going to be good. But I just don't like it across the board. So I didn't get it. So Tim, I will let you, dealer's choice. Which one of the two, I'm going to try both on air. Which of the two though, should I try first?
I need you to run these names by me one last. What's the yellow? It's Wild Orange and Super Berry. Okay.
Wow.
Let's go with Wild Orange. Let me see you try the Wild Orange, because you're a wild man.
Wild man. I tell you what. We get wild on the Spanish Announce Table. So let's go. All right, here it is.
Let's go.
Cracked it open. Zoya energy drink, healthy warrior energy drink for you to consume. Here we go. That's good.
All right.
It tastes like an orange drink. Back in the day.
Funny that.
No. What I mean is, like, if you remember melting down the orange popsicles down into a liquid and drinking that, because sometimes
what you're saying is like the flavor ice, as they call it.
Yes.
Those upside down, just the tube, the plastic tube that cuts your face all up like the Joker.
Yep.
The juice at the bottom. We always call it juice when it's just water, right?
Yeah.
The juice at the bottom of those is one of the like memories of your childhood, right? It's like one of your first loves. When you think back, you think of that juice out of like the flavor ice tube. And Tom is saying this. That's a solid recommendation, Tom.
So good. I'm going to take 2 drinks here. So
double dose.
So good.
All right. Juice.
Now, let's get into this. Yeah, the Rock's juice. Why not?
The Rock's juice, yeah.
Again, want to give a shout out. It is a healthy warrior blend. It has it helps with immunity, focus, hydration, body, and energy. Zoya is about healthy, positive energy that helps us all focus, be productive, and get stronger together. Mana, gratitude, Zoya, Dwayne Johnson. All right, so now let's try Super Berry. Man, I tell you what, too. jazzed up a little bit instantly as well.
Going to be a fast show tonight. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of wrestling things. We're going to talk about Fastlane. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. We're going to talk about Dwayne The Rock Johnson's juice.
All right, here we go. Super Berry for those watching. Here we go. Okay.
All right. Okay.
This one has a little bit more kick to it. A little bit more, I would say. So this is Super Berry, and then this one is orange. And this is a more mild flavor to me than this. This is a little bit more, not intense, but I can definitely taste the berry instantly, where the orange takes a little bit time to get to the palate, and then like, hey, guess what? We're hanging out here. Doesn't this taste great? And I'm like, yeah, it does. So here we go. We got the Super Berry and the wild orange. I will say, like both of them a lot. Personally, though, I'm an orange man, so I'm going to go with the orange Zoya drink. So that is your T-Mac, consideration, your T-Mac pick of the drinks.
Tom, I don't think The Rock could have provided you with any more of a better tasty beverage experience.
I tell you what, look here, this is so good. Look at it. It's so good. It deserves a celebratory drink. Oh. So I have a celebratory drink. Yeah. Oh, hey, look, it's Terramana.
Oh,
look at this. Terramana tequila.
Wait, isn't that made by Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
It also is made by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Man, I tell you what. Yeah, let's have a little celebratory drink for for a job well done by Dwayne The Rock Johnson and his team. Before I pass it over, hold on, let me.
Oh, boy, we'd be really good if you could like pass this. Like if I had a bottle as well. Fun fact: peeking behind the curtain, we may appear in the same room, but we're not.
We are not, man. I tell you what. So I got the Terramana. What is this here? The well, no, it's a.
What is this here? You tell how much of this. Look, Tom, that bottle was new today before we started the show.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've been going after it. But this is the Blanco. I have the Terramana Blanco. It is so good. It has a good smoky taste to it. Look, The Rock is killing it in the drink department. These two drinks, I could not recommend more. And I'll be honest with you. A lot of celebrity drinks, a lot of celebrity gimmick, food, things that hit the market. Some of it's okay. Mm-hmm. If I were to rank here's my T-Mac instant reaction. I would say, of all the wrestling gimmick, food, and drink that I can think of off the top of my head, number one, I am going to go Terramana. This smoky flavor and this tequila is outstanding. Number two, I would go with Stone Cold's IPA. That is fantastic.
That is good.
Number three, I'm serious. This is very, very good. So that's my instant reaction, ranking the best wrestling gimmick drinks and food. But man, credit to Dwayne The Rock Johnson for making some great energy drinks and also a great tequila. I'm already buzzing. I tell you what, my heart doesn't know what to do because I got the energy drink, but I got some tequila. So we're going, woo woo, we're hanging out and having some fun. With all that being said, Tim, what are you up to?
Oh, man, just seriously, working, living, watching wrestling, just having fun, not having as tasty beverages made by The Rock Johnson like you are. So I'm a little jealous, if I'm being honest.
By the way, this was available at GNC. So your local GNC is where you can pick it up. Obviously, you can get it online as well. But if you're out shopping as we lift COVID restrictions, go support a local GNC and pick up some Zoya energy drink on the way out.
If you're in Texas, you can just... Yeah.
Hey, if you're in Florida, why not? Yeah. Down below Missouri and Kansas, just do whatever you want. Above it, maybe. We'll see.
That's bad up here.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, man, let's get into a great week of pro wrestling action, wild, wacky, fun stuff. Again, as maybe new listeners may not know, we are a more AEW focused show. So what we do here on the podcast is we start it with a recap of AEW Dynamite. And Tim, before we go through kind of a item by item list of what happened last night on AEW Dynamite, high level view, what did you think of the episode? What did you leave saying that was good, that was bad? What were your feelings?
I think there was a lot of good, but there's also some things that I've got some notes about. I took some notes watching this show, and a little kind of a, hey, what? So more of that to follow. But of course, I think we will forever remember this show because of its final match. And I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. I think maybe by design, they made this a one moment show where credit to a little bit of me wanting something a little bit later, but we didn't see the Inner Circle and foreshadowing here, the Pinnacle come to head right after the big reveal that MJF has, duped the Inner Circle. So that was a credit. Usually some promotions will just pull the trigger and say, let's get right to that. But they said, let's slow burn it. So credit to them. Liked how they featured them, but we will get to them in just a second. So let's start it off. The match that started off AEW Dynamite was the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson taking on Penta El Zero Miedo. This was fun. I will say, we'll get into the finish here in a second, but it started off as Cody was walking to the ring. Penta said, fuck this, I'm jumping at you and beating your ass right now. What did you think about this match as a whole?
The match as a whole, I think the match was fine. I mean, these guys are good at what they do, but I still it kind of looked like there were some timing issues. Like maybe these guys haven't worked together a whole lot, especially Glenn right at the end. Now, post-match was not what I'm discussing, but the end of this match is kind of like I was like, boy, that was, you know what I mean? I just kind of went away like, all right, that happened.
Yeah, so Cody picks up the victory. I felt like this match had one really great moment that kind of made you feel like, yay, everything's not bad in the world. And I don't know what it was. Again, this was the St. Patrick's Day bash, and you saw the Mexican luchador Penta putting on a little Irish hat. It wasn't that fun. I tell you what, that just made you so happy. He put it on 2 different times, 2 different hats as well. So that kind of just made you go, you know what? These timing issues, like I saw as well, they're not that bad. Penta's wearing a funny hat. But the thing that I have a criticism with this match about is going into it, we were talking about Cody's shoulder. Cody's shoulder. Oh my God. Everyone, Cody's shoulder. We get to the finish and Penta does his shoulder breaker where he, essentially throws it out of socket. And for Cody being who Cody is, where wins and losses obviously matter, but also wins and losses don't matter to his character. He can lose a few matches and still be Cody in AEW. I felt like when Penta does the shoulder socket disjointment, that should have been the finish. Penta goes over because Cody's shoulder is fucked up.
Well,
however,
to that credit, it wasn't even just that Cody's shoulder wasn't fucked up after that. It's that he immediately got up and was like, Super Cena, and just ignored it. And almost no sold it. Like he kind of sold it, but then as soon as he sold it for 2 seconds, it was like, okay, that's gone. Yeah,
I agree. I feel like if he wasn't going to lose because of that, then you need to tell more of a story. That move needs to happen earlier in the match to then show him overcoming the shoulder injury. But if that move is as devastating as it is, and it looks visually horrendous, then that should have ended the match. But Cody gets the victory by the most devastating move in all of pro wrestling, the roll up. And so Cody wins. Again, I would have went with Penta. Cody got the victory, but after the match, Penta attacks Cody, which, okay, because we got to tell another story here. Arn Anderson gets in the ring. Dustin Rhodes gets in the ring. Yeah, the Gun Club gets in the ring. Penta then,
Arn Anderson beat the Gun Club faster than they thought he was going to, because then he just stood there didn't even try to reach down, pull him off for a good 3-4 seconds, right? And I was like, hey, is he turning on Cody? For a second, I was like, what? And
right. No, he's just an old man. Yeah. So I think the story post-match was that QT Marshall comes out a couple beats late, and then they say, what the hell? Why is QT more and more distancing himself from the Nightmare family?
I didn't like... Okay. I like that they're telling a story, and this story is fine, right? Somebody in the Nightmare family getting a bit, into themselves, and is kind of just, slowly turning heel. Fine. I just don't get why we're pulling that trigger on QT Marshall. Like, this guy is as over as a late night text from James Ellsworth. Like, I don't know what the fucking point is of this guy doing it. Like, out of all the other people that are in the Nightmare family, of which there's like 74 at this point, I think, QT Marshall's the one we're pulling this trigger on. This is clearly like, there's no way you can sell me on anything other than like, this is one of their buddies that they're like, yeah, you should get a shot. And it's like, there's a reason he hasn't got a shot. He's got no charisma. Like, why are we doing this?
I feel like the reason I'm not behind the QT Marshall eventual heel turn that they're flirting with is that they already tried this once when his girlfriend was the bunny. And I feel like if you were going to say QT Marshall's going to go heel, well, then let's have QT Marshall go heel with the bunny. You know what I mean? Like, that was your opportunity to do this. So then now we're doing take two. And to me, it's like, okay, that's fine. Again, it's something, right? At least it's not just QT Marshall loses his temper after a tag team loss and he just beats up Cody and now he's out of the family. That would make no sense, right? Just one match. Why would you? Who cares? But with this, I like the story. I would just replace the person because to your point, I'm not into QT Marshall. The other thing I will say, though, in his defense, if we're in kayfabe world here, is there were 6 guys in there. Like, how many more people do you want to help Cody? Like, the Gun Club, I believe all 3 members of the Gun Club, his brother Dustin, Arn Anderson, which is he's just going to stand there. But like, that's 3, 4, 5, that's 5 people. You want 6 people to defend against 1? Like, that makes no sense. So I wasn't necessarily upset that QT Marshall was slow to get there, because if you're kind of taking stock of what was happening, you're going like, well, they've got it. If this is kayfabe, you're like, they're fine. But nevertheless, that's the story being told. QT Marshall and his further distancing himself from the Nightmare family. After this, we had a backstage segment with the Young Bucks being interviewed by Marvez. Marvez asked the Young Bucks, hey, are you concerned about Pac and Fenix? Matt Jackson takes the microphone. He's like, hey, you beat us individually in matches. You beat me last week. You beat my brother whenever that was. But guess what? This is tag team wrestling.
Tag team match.
And I understand that, right? They're saying we're not as great until we're together, then we're the best ever. Okay, I can get behind that. Cool. Before they could go any farther into Fenix and Pac in that story, they are instantly interrupted by Don Callis. Don Callis is like, hey, you guys suck. You guys used to be great, but now you're not great anymore. They take another shot at WWE, which I'm okay with. I've seen some backlash of like, stop punching up, but I feel punch up until they say something back, right? Punch them in the dick until they say, stop punching me in the dick. Like, that's how I am with business, is like, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. And so I'm okay with it. The slapping the thigh thing. Okay. We didn't have to, like, that was the silly spot that they did, which I wasn't a big fan of. But to conclude this segment, Don Callis was like, you're not as good as how you were in New Japan. You think of that. And they kind of left like, are you right? And it's like, what are you talking about, man? You're the tag team champions. Yeah.
Anytime somebody shits on the Young Bucks, I'm a fan, though. And when Don Callis does it, he does it really well. So I kind of like this segment.
Yeah. If you don't like the Young Bucks, which the Spanish announce table is not a fan of, right? Yeah, I don't get it, but some people do, and that's good for you. But because pro wrestling is big enough for everyone, but we don't want them in our world. Anyhow, let's get into the next match. We had Jade Cargill taking on Danny Jordan. Mm-hmm. This was a squash match. Jade Cargill was made to look like $1 million, which, good night. Is she not the most physically impressive female on the AEW roster?
Yeah, she is. And of course, this was designed to be a squash match. And I get it. And that's what you did here, right? But I would have figured, the person she was facing isn't so bad that she's knocked woozy by running her midsection into Jade Cargill's ass, right? Like, I know she's supposed to have buns of steel, but come on. Can we go a little bit more than comically squash match? That was my only takeaway from that. I was like, this didn't do what I think you think it did for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing to consider here is Jade is still 2 matches
True
in,
that.
so
Yeah, true that.
she's not going to be. She's not going to do a 650 off the top rope to make that her finisher.
She will. Goddamn.
I will agree with you though. The hey, my ass made you unconscious. Okay. Right?
Yeah, come on.
You have Naomi that does it.
Anthony Sharkbait Gutierrez, a friend of the show, former involved wrestler, MMA fighter. He once said, when I said, "Are you going to kick this guy's ass in a fight?" He said, "I hope he kicks my ass." And I said, "What?" He says, "That's the softest part of my body. I'm trying to kick his fucking face." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, all right, that's solid." Right. So that's what I think of when I see that. Now
that's a good one.
She ran her chest into her backside, and then she's like knocked back. I mean, maybe if you're to tell me your head hit the back, but come on.
Naomi does this in WWE, and it's another comic spot, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And also, I don't feel like men would do that. I feel like it's hey, women have nice asses. Look at this one, and it's
Outside of Rikishi, nobody's doing anything like that. Like if Randy Orton was ass pressing up against somebody as a devastating move, they would be laughed out of the building. But somehow this is like there's overtones of anyway.
So let's move on to the next segment here, which was the debut of the now formed group here called the Pinnacle, led by, I believe, MJF. MJF took the microphone and he had the most to say. However, it was Tully Blanchard who initially grabbed the microphone to say, hey, I came into pro wrestling with the greatest group of all time, and I'm leaving pro wrestling with the greatest group of all time. Thought that was a really cool line, alluding to the Four Horsemen, now talking about the Pinnacle. Then MJF takes over, and good night, does he just eviscerate Jericho with digs that are so fucking mean. First off, the line that I loved is he said, anytime Jericho took the microphone, I had to fall back like Chris Jericho's hairline. Jesus. Yeah. And then he goes, hey, by the way, Jericho, how'd you like that I pulled you and Sammy Guevara apart more than your left pec is to your right? Fuck! Those are two really mean things to say. It's one thing to be pro wrestling and be like, oh, I don't like your moves or you're washed up. Those are, dime a dozen. We've heard that a million times. But to be like your hairline, you're losing it, and your pecs are fucking weird, man, that cuts right at the heart of That's who deep. You are as a person. Yeah. Right. What did you think of this promo though? We talked about Wardlow, Sean Spears, all the guys. What would you say though as far as this segment here?
It was good for everything that a heel faction knew is supposed to do, right? Especially if we're trying to pay some sort of at least sprinkling of an homage to the Four Horsemen. This fit. And I'm down, right? Faction warfare it's easy to tell a story, but I think it's also easy to fall in a rut. I think a lot of times this just means every week we get a bench clearing brawl. And it's kind of making me think where this is going to go with the Inner Circle for the next 4 to 6 weeks, it's just going to erupt in a giant brawl of 10 dudes fighting all over the place.
So, as far as this specific promo, I really liked it. I liked how it was the establishment promo, right? We got Double S, Sean Spears. He's the chairman. He's the guy that you don't want to fuck with. He's the backbone of this, silent leader of this group. Then you got Wardlow. He's essentially the future. We're just waiting for him to get it all put together, and then he's going to be shot to the moon as far as the next AEW champ. Then we obviously have the best tag team in AEW, and then you have MJF, 24 years old, and already established as one of the best going right now. I loved what they did as far as setting the table for who all these people are in this group. I think we are going to get a lot of that gang warfare where you're going to have probably Jericho and Hager jump FTR from behind, and then they're going to have a feud. I think, though, where this leads to is Double or Nothing. And if you remember last year's Double or Nothing, we did a really fun match that was one of my favorite matches of all time and was my favorite match of last year. And I think we're going to go round 2. I think we're going to do a stadium stampede of the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. What do you think about that idea?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason, I guess, not, right? It would be tough to make this a yearly thing because, I mean, maybe not. You don't always have to be 5-on-5, I guess. It just makes it easier to get her all over the stadium. But at least while you got another 5-on-5 and it's hot off the last one, at least, You know what I mean? Try another shot at the well, right, and see how it goes. So why not? And yeah, I mean, the cast of characters involved in that will be nothing short of fun, I'm sure, if that's where it leads.
And again, that's just my prediction of where this will lead to. I'm hoping, though, the Stadium Stampede does turn into almost a yearly tradition at some pay-per-view. I understand Double or Nothing might be taking place in the future at, Las Vegas or Los Angeles, wherever they want to go. But that match at the Jags football stadium, I think that would be fantastic because that could be your branded War Games. You know how War Games is NXT's double cage thing? Well, that's a trademark gimmick. What can you do? Well, our owner's father owns a fucking football team and has a stadium. We did it once and it was amazing. Let's just make this our gimmick because WWE would not dare to go to the next city and, come to Kansas City and do it at Arrowhead, right?
Right.
But they have that opportunity. So I feel like lean into it, take advantage of your resources. And again, the creativity at AEW, it doesn't always have to be the Inner Circle. It could be the Pinnacle versus Cody's new group or whatever it is. So I'm excited if that's where they go.
WWE can't even do this at an XFL stadium anymore either.
Right? You know why? Because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Zoya Energy owns the XFL.
They're pausing next season to talk to the CFL, so that it may go away too. The XFL it may just kind of merge all into one.
Well, side note, we'll get back into the AEW talk here in a second. Talk about a full circle, just domination of your fucking life, where you go in 1997, I believe it was, getting cut from a CFL team. And then 20 years later, 22 years later, whatever the timeline is, you say, oh, by the way, I'm buying the whole fucking league. You are winning at life when you go from cut from a team to then coming back and say, I own the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this team come to Miami. Yeah.
I've got another league. I'm going to buy yours. And we'll see if we're going to use the same name or if we're just going to use my name. Yeah.
Incredible. All right, let's get back into AEW here. Yeah, he's amazing. And again, Zoya energy drink, amazing. I love this wild orange Zoya energy. Fantastic. I'm already buzzing right now. Woo, woo. I'm ready to jump out of this building right here. All right, so let's get back into it. We had Jurassic Express and Bear Country taking on Matt Hardy, Private Party, and the Butcher and the Blade. This was good, but I think the good point about it is we're going to get Jurassic Express versus Bear Country. We saw dissension that caused Matt Hardy to pick up the victory. What did you think? What did you leave with after this match?
I left with just, again, a lot of people in the ring shouldn't be bad, so we got a decent match. This Matt Hardy mix now, where he's got Bear Country, or not Bear, Butcher and the Blade with him as well. This is a weird mix. This is kind of like Ricky Starks and Team Taz, where it doesn't seem like it fits. Mm-hmm. And Butcher and the Blade have flopped around now more than Big Show. Like, I really would prefer a direction for them. So I just, you're right. We're gonna get this. Bear Country and what do they call them?
Jurassic Express.
Jurassic Express.
Yeah.
Fine. Of course, that'll be good. I don't know if the story is going to be outrageous. So, I mean, the matches will be something we'll be like, that was really cool.
So, again, I've been feeling in this creative mode because I got a new computer here. I got a new lighting system. I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling like you guys should be watching me and I got some great ideas. So here's what I would do with Bear Country versus Jurassic Express. Because again, I think that's where we're going. You have some one-on-one matches, right? Luchasaurus versus one of the Bear Country guys, a Jungle Boy versus the other Bear Country guy. And then you do a tag match that leads to a no contest. Then look, AEW's trying to be alternative. Get wild, right? Get literally wild. Have a fucking fight between
Hog Wild.
Well,
Tom wants Hog Wild.
Somewhat. Come on. Right. Here you go.
Okay. All right.
What I'm saying is a little bit more crazy than Hog Wild. I'm saying Bear Country and Jurassic Express should fight in the fucking jungle or the forest. Like, they're fucking weird, bears and dinosaurs and Jungle Boy. Yeah. Fucking go into the forest and have a fight. Wouldn't that be fun? You could have Jungle Boy literally jumping from tree to tree. You could have Marco Stunt getting lost. You could have Luchasaurus coming out of the water. Bear Country could be hibernating in a cave.
The natural disaster match or something like, you know what I mean? The Nature's Nightmare or something. Yeah, just get him out there.
Oh, yeah, and Tim, picture this. Let's do that. Let's fantasy book that real quick. Okay, so we do Nature's Nightmare match, right? It's Jurassic Express versus Bear Country in the fucking wild. But you shoot it like it's National Geographic, like how they do with their cameras, and you have a voiceover guy. Fuck Jim Ross, fuck Tony Schiavone, fuck Excalibur. They're not calling this match. You're literally going to hire the voiceover guy from National Geographic, and you're going to call this like it's a fucking zebra getting ate by a goddamn lion. That's how you do this match. Wouldn't that be fun?
I like that idea. I do like that idea a lot.
The other thing that I left with leads to what you were saying, the Butcher and the Blade. I would change their tone a little bit, because I agree with you. They've been with every group now. They've been with Eddie Kingston. Then they were kind of by themselves. Now they're with Matt Hardy. Turn them into APA. Turn them into your AEW APA, where they're just hitman for hire. That you go through the bunny to pay the bunny, but they don't give a shit about anything here. They care about money, and we can give them something other than beer, but like some other type of, we care about money and we care about fill in the blank. We can come up with that later, but just have them go from heel faction to heel faction. For example, in 2 weeks, if Kenny Omega feels that Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston are too much on his heels, he hires Butcher and the Blade, because the Good Brothers are out injured, and the Butcher and the Blade take care of Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. That's what I would think you should do with them, is just make them this rotating, like, yeah, we'll fuck up anyone. We'll fuck up the heels too if you want. Like, if you want us to take out the Good Brothers, just hire us and we'll do it. That would make them really cool. All right, now let's get back into the recap. We had Dasha interviewing Christian Cage. This was pretty standard. I thought it was a good promo from Christian, but he essentially said, Kenny Omega, I'm coming for you. And remember, I'm going to outwork everyone. What'd you think?
Yeah, I decent from Christian here. I like that he's the line where he said, everybody, I get it, right? Old guy coming in here, everybody's worried about their spot, and he's like, but let me assure you, there's only one spot I'm after. And that's, you know what I mean? I like that line, because that's kind of something that, we haven't touched on before when people do this. So I'm just, hey, if that's real, whatever Christian's real, and if that's Jay, whatever his name is, really saying like, motherfuckers, you forgot about me, I am about to make you regret that ever. If that's what's really happening and he comes with it and brings it, then we can't say it'll be anything but great for us, right? Mm-hmm. Because we've seen Christian is capable of telling us great stories with damn good matches. And if he's saying, he's like, a thing they've never told you backstage is that I'm the fucking guy and I'm going to show you the great. I'm here for it, but we'll see, right? We'll see. There's a lot of bravado in pro wrestlers, and we like that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what his dynamic is going to be, because Kenny Omega is still tied up with Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, that story. And eventually that's going to end, and Kenny Omega is going to need to do the next thing. But I don't believe what we're going to do is just have Christian do backstage promos with Dasha or Marvez or Tony Schiavone until Kenny Omega is done with that promo.
Exactly.
So
he's got to do something.
So he's going to do something, but what is that first thing? Because you can't necessarily say like Christian's taking on, Wardlow, because now he would be going up against the Pinnacle. You can't have Christian taking on Jake Hager, because now that's Christian versus the Inner Circle. And so you need like a lower level heel, but someone credible enough. And I just don't know who that person is, because everyone's in these gang warfares and these factions, and he's this solo act going like, where do I go? So I'm very interested to see what his first move will be.
Even could we don't. Lance Archer looks like he's going after TNT title, so we're not going to throw him to that.
The only guy I could think of, but I think it would not be beneficial as far as storytelling, maybe in-ring experience, definitely, but maybe Scorpio Sky. We saw that Scorpio Sky has turned a new leaf and has gone heel.
Shortchanging his
right,
right? Because you're going to give Christian the win, right?
Right, exactly.
Whoever he goes against first, that would
be
bizarre to not do that.
Yeah, so that's where I'm excited to see Christian. I think Christian is fantastic, but where does he start? Because I don't think he's just starting with Kenny Omega. But speaking of Kenny Omega, the two biggest thorns in his side, Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley, were in action taking on the Good Brothers. Before this match, Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, I said this on our Twitter at Table Show. If you want ratings to go up and you want stories to make sense, literally just have Jon Moxley or Eddie Kingston, or even better, both of them, just do promos each week. Just fucking let them talk. They're the best at it right now.
Yeah, that promo was so real and so gritty, and just exactly why we love both of these guys allowing to have the freedom to just do and say what they want. It was great. I loved every bit of that and was just like, yeah, I want to go fight with these guys.
Yeah. And again, like you said, it was believable because first off, everything that Eddie Kingston's doing is believable. I still believe when he said, God is my enemy and I'll come after you in a moment, I don't think that was like a work. I think that was a shoot coming from Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, this is what he laid at Ben one time. He was like, I'm fucking coming for you.
So crazy. So yeah, let's get into the match here. Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley, Good Brothers. It was really physical, really fun. It ends with, again, the most devastating move in all of pro wrestling, the roll-up, but it was more of a small package like Cradle, but Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley get the victory.
Also, just to backtrack for a quick second, one of my favorite parts of that promo was, and he was like, everybody's talking about the Good Brothers. Everybody loves the Good Brothers. He's like, I don't. And then Kingston's like, nope. And he's like, I don't like him at all.
Yeah, I don't like him one bit.
Yeah, match, of course. I mean, look. You know who we're talking about, right? So I always feel like these matches are fine, but that's kind of my bare minimum expectation, right? Of guys like this, right? So I don't think they did anything to necessarily wow me in that, but again, it's early storytelling time for these folks. So, you know, they're not going to go all out and, you know, throw somebody off a ledge, you know.
That's true.
Fine.
So the real story was post-match. We saw the Good Brothers attack Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Kenny Omega then comes out. They take out Eddie Kingston by putting his leg in a chair and then stomping on it. Eddie Kingston then rolls out to the outside because he's obviously injured. And then they're going to do that same move, but to Jon Moxley's neck. And this is when the Young Bucks said, hey, enough's enough. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? So they come out. And they essentially try to reason with their friends, saying like, hey, I get it that we don't like them, but you're trying to like kill some people.
Kill him.
Yeah, like what in the fuck?
Don't kill him. Yeah.
And Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers instantly go like, hey, we're friends, right? Like, look at this hand gesture.
Touch our fingers.
Yeah,
hand
just
puppets.
do it.
Hand puppets.
Do it.
Hand puppets.
And so I almost did it again. Am I going the right way?
Yeah, yep. Almost. Oh, yeah, we kind of did it right on our nose.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that'll be fine.
I like it. We'll make it edit.
Watch us on YouTube. YouTube.com/Spanish Sounds Tube.
So the Young Bucks are like, no, fuck that. We're not friends. We're not cool here. Like, stop this bullshit. And the interesting part that I found is then Kenny Omega essentially big times him and is like, fuck this, and takes off the shirt and is like, you're not a real friend of mine. And the Young Bucks are, well, what do we do? Like, what? And then they just leave the ring. And I'll let you describe what you saw from this segment because you had an interesting point.
Yeah, they left the ring. Okay, so you guys came out to Jon Moxley's aid from these guys who were trying to break his neck. And you get in your fight and you puff your chest and you deny the hand puppets, hour with the Good Brothers there. And then you leave because you're upset, but you left Jon Moxley in the fucking ring with the guys who were trying to break his neck, you assholes.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? If you didn't argue for another few seconds, he would have been in peril. Luckily, he got up and saved himself with a chair, but you fucks left him there.
Yeah, I agree. That was a misstep by the Young Bucks. So we're starting to see dissension amongst the Bullet Club or whatever we're calling them in AEW. But again, where I left with this segment was how fucking good Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston are. So they do their whole thing, the Bullet Club, dissension, they're running around, all that. Meanwhile, Eddie Kingston is outside the ring. And in the history of pro wrestling, that is 10 times out of 10. Just a moment for the wrestler to catch his breath. He just sits there, lays there, waits till the segment's over. We're clear. He might limp back to the locker room and then, we're moving on to whatever the next story is. Nope, not Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston is surrounded by medical personnel. And he's yelling, get me back in the ring with Mox. Get me back in the ring with Mox. Because that's his friend. And he knows his friend is still hurt and in trouble. So he wants to be there for his friend. And it's like, fuck, Eddie Kingston. Do you not think of every detail? You are the best. You are the fucking best.
Yeah, Eddie Kingston is awesome. I've really liked everything since he's showed up. I saw somebody tweet that said, like, I can't believe I didn't know about this guy like only a year ago. Like, how did we ever live without him? And that's kind of how I feel with Eddie Kingston in these spots that he does, and just the believability, like you said, and just the identifiableness, right? You can look at that guy and be like, yeah, like you feel that, right?
And he doesn't turn it off. That's the thing that I think I want to give him like the biggest praise for is, like I mentioned, you could have had, and you have had millions of times, just someone go like, my leg, you know, but no, he's still playing into what his character is on screen. He's never breaking. He's never taking a moment to just rest. It's so admirable to see someone committed to being a pro wrestler in 2021. So applause and, you know, whatever you want to say there to Eddie Kingston, but he is just absolutely amazing. All right, so now let's keep it moving here. We had Tony Schiavone interviewing Sting and Darby Allin. Darby Allin takes the mic first and says, hey, I'm tired of Team Taz. Fuck that shit. Now I'm the TNT champ, but I've only defended this thing 3 times. So I'm going to do something in honor of the greatest TNT champion, Brody Lee, and I'm going to let the Dark Order have the first shot now that I'm done with Team Taz. But here's the thing. You pick who it is, Dark Order. Like, you let me know, and I'm kicking their ass next week. But Dark Order, you're getting the first shot. I thought that was really great.
Yeah. I like that idea too. But the Sting thing. Are we ever going to see Sting complete a promo without getting interrupted in AEW? Or is that just part of his gimmick now?
Maybe that's part of his gimmick. Maybe what would be great is if we continue down this path and then like he shows up for a promo with Tony Schiavone and Tony's like, I'm here with, and he just takes the mic and he's like, no. And then like, let's say he goes heel. He never will, but let's just say he goes heel and he closes down the entrance ramps like so people can't walk out of those tunnels. He's like, no, fuck that. No one's walking out. I've got security guards. I'm talking here, you assholes. And he just cuts a promo of like, I'm the greatest of all time or all that. Maybe we'd go that route.
He says, your time is up. My time is now. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's not what he'd say. I don't know.
Well, someone who did say that essentially was Lance Archer. So Darby Allin gives out the open challenge to the Dark Order. Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts walk out. Lance Archer's like, hey, fuck this. You guys are stupid. You're dumb. More of me. More of the Murdoch Monster. Yeah.
More of me.
More of me. I like me. You like me. We all like me. More of me.
More of me.
And he talks shit on Darby Allin. They kind of have a standoff. Then Jake the Snake takes the mic. And I like the awareness of their history. Jake the Snake's like, Sting, me and you know each other. Because obviously they do, right? From WCW, They have some great matches back in the early 90s. But he's like, me and you know who I am. And you know we're coming for you. And then he goes, so we're going to take off now. But we're coming for that ass. And Sting's like, all right then, motherfucker, like let's do it. And as soon as he's squaring up and getting his chest all big to the Murdoch Monster and Jake the Snake, here comes that thorn in the side, Team Taz. And Team Taz walks out, and before Taz can even say a word, Brian Cage is like, you know what? I gotta get something off my chest, you assholes. I don't care what the fuck Team Taz says. Sting, you're great. And then Team Taz is like, the fuck you doing, pal? And that's the end of the segment.
Yeah. That was the best part of the segment. And Ricky Starks and Team Taz selling that like he just fucking literally stabbed them in the back was great. And I love Ricky Starks like, excuse me, what the fuck are you saying about me? When he said like Ricky Starks was wrong, he was like, whoa, right? And then Taz keeps trying to like get the mic from him. You know what I mean? Brian Cage like, you step off, motherfucker. Like, oh, that was great. I love how Will Hobbs like, are you out of your goddamn mind? Like he's like sitting there like, what's wrong with you? And then he just kind of plows through them and goes off, and they don't even like, all right, fuck dealing with you. We got to go figure out what the hell's going on over here. I'd like to see where that's going because Team Taz, if the shakeup is let's get rid of Brian Cage and let him go do his own thing, I mean, that could be great too.
Yeah, again, I know for listeners for the last few weeks have known where we stand, where we wish that was maybe Ricky Starks who said that instead of Brian Cage. But yeah, some shakeup, because I think the shakeup is needed not only for one of them to, establish themselves as a mid-card to maybe lower main event level kind of guy, but I think someone needs to evolve out of a spot, because then Powerhouse Hobbs needs to be, the guy that just crosses his arms to actually doing some shit. My thought is we're going to get Brian Cage and Sting versus Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. I think that's where we're going. And then out of that, that's where Lance Archer comes in and is like, fuck you, bitch. I'm still here. And then that's when he takes out Sting. And then we get Brian Cage and Team Taz go their way. And then we get Sting and Lance Archer go their way. But I think that's where we're going. Also on AEW Dark, quick note, we saw some dissension there as well, where Brian Cage and Ricky Starks weren't really on the same page, kind of, giving each other the side looks and side eyes and saying like, fuck you doing, pal? So yeah, I think we're going to get Brian Cage being pushed as that alpha male, lunchbox with arms and legs who can bench press the world. So we'll see. Next up, we had Fenix versus Angelico. This was good. I like Fenix still. I think he's the most fun, where it's like, this guy could literally die. He has that Darby Allin trait to him, but where I don't like, where Darby Allin, I think, enjoys the pain, where like he enjoys to jump off the cliff and maybe break a leg and, oh, that was fun. Fenix, I think, just says, oh, this will work out for me. Like, I'm fine. But it never does. He ends up, doing a dive out the ring, and his tailbone hits the post, and he breaks a tailbone or something like that. They're similar in their recklessness, but it's different intentions behind it. But yeah, Fenix and Angelico, it was what it was. I liked it.
It's boring as shit. Listen, this is the epitome of what we talk about when we talk about like the fucking hold your hand, run up to the post, flip over and arm drag you, and that hurts. And all of that. I mean, they're literally holding hands most of this match for shit like that. And again, moves are great. The professional wrestling, the story is in between the goddamn moves, right? Like, and we're not getting that in these kind of matches. There's no story being told here. There's no story being furthered in what's surrounding this match. And I just don't, like, the fuck is Angel? I forgot he was even there. Like, I don't know. I couldn't get through this fast enough for me.
I think I agree with you somewhat. Obviously, I'm not a fan of the, hey, let's hold each other's hands. I'm going to run up these ropes and then I'm going to smack your chest. What the fuck was that, right?
Yeah, right. While you stand there, while you flip once and then you flip again, when any other time I'd rip my fucking hand out. Goddamn, like, I know we're not, and I know we're supposed to suspend. Like, I get it. It's wrestling. We all know it's fake, so we know it's fake. But, like, when you make it, like, unbelievably there's an uncanny valley and you missed it. You just missed it. Anyway.
I think Phoenix's style is best paired with the Lance Archers, the Jake Hagers, the big man of AEW. That's where he shines, because he can't do it.
Yeah, I agree
and then
that.
We're not relying on the other person to do the timing stuff, because maybe they don't want to, or maybe they just don't have that ability. But when you get the same flippy guy with them, then yeah, to your point, now we're just doing a bunch of shit that's like Cirque du Soleil. What the fuck are we doing? But anyhow, Phoenix gets the win. We move on. He looks strong. Got to build him up and Pac to take on the Young Bucks here in a few weeks. But after this, Marvez goes and talks with Miro. And here we go. We're getting that dissension. We're getting Miro doesn't give a shit about anyone but himself. What'd you think of this?
The key takeaway I took is when he says, hey, listen to me. If there's something I know, the worst thing for your career is to have your wife at ringside. That was a super fun dig. There's interesting. More dissension here, which I think we've kind of talked about. Okay, cool. We did this. It was weird that we did this as the way to debut Miro. Usually that's something that comes after somebody debuts, but they clearly weren't ready to go like all in on Miro. But I think Miro is better than just this pairing. So I don't mind if they're friends and buddies forever, but like I would like it not to be faction like.
I agree. The thing that I started to realize at this point of AEW Dynamite is as great as they are with storytelling, and they are. This is the most fun I've had watching pro wrestling, like I said last week, since ECW when Taz was the champ and we had all the fun stuff with the Dudleys and Tommy Dreamer and all that stuff, right? This is the most fun I've had personally since then. By the way, wearing an ECW shirt here. However, I feel like whoever's writing this, if it's one person, they're doing a lot of the same things. So what I mean by that is QT Marshall might be leaving the Nightmare family. Miro might be leaving Kip Sabian. The Young Bucks might be leaving the Bullet Club. It's like, okay, but really it's coincidental that this all happened on the same episode, that we're just getting the teases of breakups. Like, you know, have
right
some
after the fallout from a pay-per-view, right?
Right, yeah. It's like, have some weeks where this happens and then that happens. We don't have to do all of this on one episode. So that's where I was like, okay, what are we doing here? Anyhow, we're going to get the match. I think Miro then takes off and, you know, starts flexing his muscles and is like, remember who the fuck I am? Let's all chant Rusev Day or Miro Day.
Lance Archer.
Oh, that would be fun.
I want to see that.
Yeah, that would be
with Jake
really...
Roberts there even.
Yeah.
Miro interacting with him. Yeah.
Oh, the promos. Because, you know, Miro always, you know, Bob Lashley and all those little mannerisms.
Yeah. What would he say about Jake Roberts and Lance?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Snake Man. Hey, you Snake Man. Like, that's probably what it's
Snake Bob.
Yeah, Snake. Yeah. Snaky Jake. Snaky Jake. You and me, we don't like each other. Yeah. After the Miro segment, we got Marvez again backstage. This time he goes to the Dark Order and he says, hey, Dark Order, you heard the challenge. Who accepts? -1's like, me, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
I'm taking this guy out. And then on Dark Order's like, no. Let's thank you.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
And then they all raise their hand. And then eventually they land on John Silver, old Guns and Poses here. So Guns and Poses taking on Darby Allin. What do you think about that matchup?
That was a fun segment, the way he like reacted to that. And you know what I mean? They're like, what do they call him? Meat Man or something?
Yeah.
Like that? I don't know. I mean, they're all chanting for him. Yeah, Dark Order's fun. But yeah, I mean, you know, we knew this was going to spin the wheels. So, but I mean, it fits. That's where Dark Order is used best, if they're going to be this, like we've discussed, where they are the, you know, the kind of the nerds where you don't hate them. They're not like annoying necessarily, but they're kind of goofy and just not, you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to like go grab a beer with the guys, but they don't mind if they're around. That fits well where we go, hey, you get a shot. And they go, oh, okay, but we know they're going to get beat, right?
Yeah. I'm curious, though, of where Colt Cabana is with all of this. Remember, we had him doing the flirtation with, does he know that he's a heel? And I understand things in real life happen that have changed the story and the narrative of what Colt Cabana is doing in the Dark Order. However, everyone, you know, that is speaking about the Dark Order storyline is just saying Hangman Adam Page is going to take over the Dark Order, which I still think he should. But Colt Cabana, are we just giving up on Colt Cabana being Colt Cabana? Because he's still an independent wrestling legend. So I feel like maybe we should be doing something more with his story on screen where he takes more initiative. And for example, what I may have done with this is say Colt Cabana makes the decision right now. And Colt Cabana is picking John Silver. And even though he's not, you know, running or in charge of the Dark Order, he's still a senior leadership role amongst these dorks that are just running around bouncing off of each other backstage. So that was the one thing I'm interested in going forward with the Dark Order is, where does Colt Cabana, are we invested in Colt Cabana? Because I still think he can tell good stories and he obviously has good matches. So now let's get into it, Tim. Here we are. This is what we're all here to talk about. It was the unsanctioned, lights out, anything goes match between Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Thunder Rosa. Oh my God. Tim, I will let you go first. What did you think about this main event match? First time ever women main evented AEW Dynamite episode.
I thought this was stunning, I think is the word I told you. I was taken aback by just how hard they went in and quick. This match was not 40 minutes. This was
right.
Not, they hit a lot of spots after each other. I watched it back today, And I don't do that much. Like it's rare that I'm watching a match a second time, but I had to see this again just to kind of catch it. And I was surprised. I was like, oh man, they're already at this spot. Oh man, they're already at this spot. I was like, I guess I didn't realize as it was going, like this went through pretty quick, and they managed to just get there. They were never pulling any punches. They were never pulling up lame on a spot. At least on purpose. There was a couple times where I think it didn't hit as hard because they, realized they were out of position maybe more so than they were, but they adjusted and still hit the spot. And then the way to go with the bleeding, like I don't think she intended to bleed as much as she did being Britt Baker, and then Rebel trying to even help her, and the ref's like, well, no, hold on here, right? Like he caught that moment where she like tries to give her the thing, but then he's like, all right, I get it, whatever, right? Blood's in her eye. Powering through that. Table spot at the end, I thought they legitimately knocked her out because when she had to get her off of that table and her body was flopping, I was like, oh my God, is she really dead? Like, are we sure that she didn't really? Because it looked like she drove her head through the fucking floor. Man, what a match. God, this was great. This match of the year so far without a question in my mind. Like, this is amazing.
I agree. I agree with everything you said there. I think these women knew the spot that they were in, and this is the exact in pro wrestling term of grabbing that brass ring. I know we had that ladder match of grab the brass ring. If you wanted to know what that looks like, it looks like this match. These two women, first off, I mentioned this before. This is one of the best storylines in all of pro wrestling. Obviously, it's their best women's storyline currently, but in all of pro wrestling, and considering Roman Reigns and heading the table and the Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley and all of that stuff, and then AEW Hangman and all of their good stuff, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. The genesis of this was a little bit weird, but then they made it make sense, right? It was Dr. Britt Baker, the AEW talent, saying this NWA talent doesn't even deserve to be in our locker room, and then the dissension and just hatred going to this boiling point. And like you said, they didn't waste time. They didn't go like, hey, let's do some arm drags or let's do, a sleeper hold. They're like, no, let's get on the top rope here and do a suplex into some fucking chairs. Like, they went at it. And I just thought it was incredible. The commitment, like you said, they weren't pulling punches. It was, hey, we need to make the most out of this moment. So I'm punching you in the fucking face. And honestly, as great as Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa were, which they were, credit to Rebel too. She got in there and she got dirty as well.
Great.
She's so great. She is so good. And I enjoyed that spot when she used her coat to have Britt Baker wipe the blood out of her eyes. That was real. And even if you're, kayfabe in it here, like, of course Rebel would do that for Britt Baker. She loves her. So yeah, here's my coat. I don't care.
Real and believable. Like that's what she would have been like, oh my God, here, get this out of your eyes. Right.
And then her going through the table herself, I thought that was good. I feel like this morning, a lot of the credit's going to Britt Baker, and deservingly so. She got the thumbtacks out. She took the powerbomb into the thumbtacks. When she got the lockjaw on Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa just to like roll her into the thumbtacks. What a great creative spot.
Yeah.
And I feel like Britt Baker deserves 1,000,000%. All the credit she deserves is completely justified and earned. However, I feel like we also need to applaud Thunder Rosa here. Thunder Rosa was the one that kind of got us to point A to point B to point C. Now it was it was Baker going through the stuff, right? Like the table spot at the end. Like she was the one who looked like she got unconscious, but Thunder Rosa
got the victory.
Well, Thunder Rosa got the victory, but she was the ring general. She was the one where it was like, to your point, like maybe we looked a little off timed, or timing was a little off. So let's settle it down here.
Yeah, like
I've got you through here.
The thing that instantly comes to mind is like when she had her on the ropes and went into the ladder, like it looks like they hit that less because I think she realized like I'm gonna overshoot this if I go full, and so it kind of didn't hit as hard, but still looked. I mean, like they still hit the spot, they didn't miss it. I'm sure it hurt. Like it's not for nothing. The curb stomp by Baker to Rosa on the steps looked, I was like, oh my God, that was real. I was like, oh my God, she got her.
And that's what I'm saying. I think before, it reminded me of a story that the Regal twins told us about when they were extras in WWE on Monday Night Raw. So they were a part of a backstage segment where Brock Lesnar and Undertaker were going to be in this huge fight, and it was going to be a pull apart. Everyone's got to get involved. Yeah, we were there, and everyone was going to get involved. And what Brock Lesnar and Undertaker said before they went to live on Monday Night Raw is, hey, from this moment on, after this meeting is done, this is real between me and him. Yeah. Brock Lesnar is saying this. Like, this is real between me and him. So if you get in our way, like, you're taking an elbow, you're taking a punch as well. And so that's what I feel like the women did with this match is say, we're going at this as if we're really fighting each other, to the point that when Thunder Rosa won, she broke down in tears. I think for two reasons. One, probably the adrenaline dump of what the fuck did I just do to my body? And two, I think you knew, both the talent and the crowd, like, we watched something special here. This was the defining moment for AEW's women's division. This was a defining moment of AEW.
That's the kind of stuff you can feel in the air, even when they have this like lack of a huge crowd. But like, I mean, you could tell by the crowd that was there and the other wrestlers out there, like, it went from standard like cheering and stuff to a real "this is awesome" chant, not a generic. Yeah, like they were like, "Hey, no, this is awesome," and then it just kind of kept going from there, where you could tell everybody was like, "Oh, what? No!" Right? Like, and that's how I was at home. And even watching it a second time, like watching the things, even when you know it's coming, I was like, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
It was such a great match.
It was incredible. When Britt Baker got the thumbtacks out, first off, credit to my wife, who I've just beat her down over the head with pro wrestling just norms, where she got the black bag, and my wife was reading and checking into the match because it did get her attention as well. And she goes, "That's thumbtacks." And I go, "I love you so much." So when the thumbtacks came out, she's like, "Really?" And I was like, "I think so." And the power bomb, that's another thing. Credit for taking a power bomb. It wasn't a, little body slam or just a trip and a fall into drop kick. It was, I'm fucking throwing you up and you got to go all back into this.
She did not, let gravity drop her. Yeah. So she falls on it, which is not an easy thing to do either. I'm not sitting here and be like, well, if you just fall on thumbtacks, they don't hurt. Like, if so many power bomb, that means those things are getting embedded. Even if the pointy side didn't, she probably had one that was like on its side, still get jammed up into her bag. That had to be a shot. Like, I mean, I imagine your body just gets that shooting electricity shot. I'm like, holy shit. Oh God. I can't sing the praises of this enough.
Yeah, this was incredible. I really hope, for as good as the women division is, Nyla Rose is great. Obviously, Sheeta as the champ is doing really well. You got Jade Cargill, who was featured earlier in the show, and also Sheeta and Jade Cargill were given some shots of them watching the match during this as well. But I really hope we don't do it instantly, right? I don't want to see it at the next pay-per-view, but maybe end of the year or whatever that December, January pay-per-view is, we revisit this with Thunder Rosa as champ or Britt Baker as champ, and we say, hey, let's run this back. Let's see what we can do again on a lights out match, this time for the title. Because I think if you raise the stakes, man, I'm on it. Like, if you tell me that that's the main event of a pay-per-view, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa in a lights out 2 match for the title, oh, you got my money. Yeah. Here's my money. Right. Here it is. Incredible, though. This was spectacular. I thought overall, like I said, a lot of people didn't do some things because I think we all knew, again, they being AEW, knew like we're going all out on this. So we don't want to make it watered down with Cody turns heel or blah, blah, blah. Shaq is back or whatever it is. We're focusing in on this. And I thought that was the right move. And so this episode was really good, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was great.
All right, so that was AEW Dynamite. Tim, we've got some picks to get to. You want to take over the WWE talk as we transition?
We have WWE Fastlane coming up this weekend on Peacock.
Oh,
you got the Peacock. I've not signed up yet. I know I need to. I meant to today, but I got real busy. And fun fact, we're starting this a little late in the evening. Tom's mad at me for that.
But I got my Zoya, so
so he's fine now.
Positive energy, it says.
The Peacock is like, the network is done. Like, I think you can still access it for now, but they've said like, hey, this is done now, and people, like, you'll get a refund if you've already paid some things in advance, that kind of stuff. So Peacock is coming. You need to sign up for it. You could probably watch Fastlane, I think, on the traditional network, but WrestleMania time, that's it. What are your thoughts?
So today was the official launch, but I've had Peacock for about a week, and they've had WWE content on there already.
Gotcha.
So let me tell you the
Soft
pros
launch, if you will.
Exactly. So let me tell you the pros and cons. So the pro part of the Peacock network is it has such a wealth of content going back to everything that they own,
NBC
right?
owns so much.
NBC owns everything. So you can literally just be on that channel itself and stay there the entire time. You can do SNL and go back to like the history of Saturday Night Live. Right. You can go to Parks and Rec. You could do The Office. So you could like binge 9 million things and then get to the WWE network, which was a giant library into itself. So like the amount of hours you could just spend hanging out on this app is incredible. Now, the con. First off, I hate the name. I'm not going to tell you I'm watching Peacock. It's fucking dumb. It's stupid. Change the fucking name. Don't do NBC Plus because that's lazy, but come up with something else. Credit to you for trying to be creative, but this was a swing and a miss with the fucking name. Stupid.
I don't even need a fancy name. I get branding, but like if you just told me it's NBC On Demand, like, yeah, it's fine. Like,
On Demand is fine,
we've
too.
We've talked about this. They named the college football playoff after a lot of like analysis and stuff, because sometimes simple is best. Peacock is, you're right. I get it. That's your
logo. That's
logo,
your icon. Yeah, it's stupid to say.
Nobody. Like, I get what you're saying. People will identify when they see that Peacock with NBC, but nobody ever like referred to NBC as like the Peacock network, or like Peacock or been like, man, that logo's so cool, they got a Peacock. Like, nobody's been that. So I don't know, like, that's being too far up your own ass, I feel like.
I agree. The other thing that is a drawback, now I'm on the $4.99.
You want to be up somebody else's ass, not up your own. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
You can't be too far up your own ass. You gotta,
Indeed. Wise words here from Tim. The other drawback, and this is just because I honestly thought, for the criticisms that the WWE Network got as an app, I found it to be pretty pleasant. I thought the, starting and stopping. One thing I will say is I'm on the $5. I'm on the $4.99. I'm not on the $9.99. I will get there eventually, but right now, again, soft launch. So me too, right?
Yeah.
But the app itself today, when I got in there, it's not that user-friendly compared to what the WWE Network was. Right. So that's my 2 cents.
So, yes, and I've heard that like you can't pause and rewind live TV. Now, I don't know if that'll be the same for like a 3-hour event, like a WWE pay-per-view kind of thing, because that's going to be annoying. I rarely ever start those things on time. If we can't like start from beginning and pause when I got to take a piss, or maybe come back to it after I go pick up my kid from work or something like that, like that's going to suck. Now, obviously, I don't have a whole lot of choice. I've got to take it. But like that's going to be something that like that'll make me be like, well, no, I damn sure don't want to give you the extra to go to $9.99. You know, like unless you're giving me that feature, because like that's one of the features I enjoy the most about the WWE Network is the ease of use of the on-demand portion of it.
Yes, and one thing that they have brought over from WWE Network to the Peacock Network is they have the markers. So if there's a long like best of Triple H, right, or whatever, you can go to like this match. So that I will say was a plus.
If you can do the things I've said you can't, because I've only heard that you can't. Like I said, I don't have experience with the Peacock, but I heard somebody like online, saw them online bitching about that when the Peacock thing came out. They were like, oh, are they going to let us fight? Because apparently you can't do that. Now, I get most NBC things are hour long, 30 minutes, so fine. But like, I mean, are they doing that with football games and stuff like that they are on there and this? Because like, I kind of don't want to deal with that. That's annoying. If I've got to wait, if it's 2 hours into Mania and I know I want to start from the beginning, I've got to wait until it's completely done. That's going to be really annoying.
Yeah, I agree. I think that will be something they will fix if it's that way currently. But again, the app, like the hub, it's called WWE Hub. It's not that great, but again, it's day one. We can get better. So I'm hoping we get better. I was just more impressed that I could get lost in this app for days. I could be on that app and not use another app for a week. I could watch so much stuff. I could watch live sports, WWE, their television shows. Like it's impressive for $4.99 that I'm paying right now.
Oh yeah, the amount of content you're getting, the deal is way better for sure.
Yep.
Now, what we're going to get into on the Peacock is the WWE Fastlane, and we're going to make some predictions. We are not going to put stakes on it because we do that with the AEW pay-per-views, meaning that like the loser will not have to face a punishment like Tom did last week. If you go back and watch/listen, where he had to acknowledge me as the table chief, the head of the Spanish announce table, which I am. But this, we just like to have a little fun and see what we think is going to happen. So let me read from WWE.com. All right, this is right now, the March 18th. Some things may change, obviously. Smackdown will happen between now and then. But we can only do with what we know. We've got, I want to read it from their list here. Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss. Is this actually happening? What's going on?
My gut feeling says this is going to be some type of cinematic experience. I don't know we're going to get a Randy Orton walks to the ring, Alexa Bliss walks to the ring.
Not a lot of arm drags, huh?
Right. They're not locking up and seeing what we're doing here. They're not going to do a test of strength. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
I got to see an Alexa Bliss Randy Orton test of strength now that you said.
Hey, that would be great.
If I don't see that by the time time I die,
what are we doing here?
It'll be a loss.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's Randy Orton on his way to the ring, sees some of the puppets from the Firefly Funhouse. Alexa Bliss blindsides him. We get into the fun. I don't even know if this is actually going to be a match. I would not be shocked if we don't even get a ref or get to the ring. We get all the fun stuff that happens on some location.
Like, this happened en route to the match. This doesn't even go off because Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, so... yeah, I think if we're going to bet the conclusion, I think the conclusion is, oh my God, the devil himself is back. It is Bray Wyatt.
So here's what happens. If this is some sort of actual contest, Alexa Bliss will win because the Fiend came back, / Randy Orton wins by DQ because the Fiend came back. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus, and this is all en route to Drew McIntyre being the main event, taking on Bob's. But what if Sheamus were to win? Can't Sheamus be like, I get to say, which leads me to believe Sheamus ain't winning. So here we go. Drew McIntyre wins.
This is where you start to look at Fastlane and you realize, and I believe I've said this before on the podcast, that Fastlane is the appendix of WWE pay-per-views because this isn't needed. At one time it served a purpose, but now no one knows what it is. We just still have it around. We need to take it out of the schedule of WWE pay-per-views. For this reason, on Raw, like you said, they announced at WrestleMania, Bob Lashley, Drew McIntyre, WWE Championship. Awesome. I'm actually into that. I'm looking forward to that match. But if we're going to do that, why not make this match a number one contenders match and then we don't know what's going to happen?
Yeah, but I'm also just like, we've seen this match the last 2 weeks running before this, and the first one we praised to all get out. They're not going to top that. Like, I don't feel like they're going to, I mean, maybe they will. I don't want to, immediately discredit them, but I don't envision them doing something so much more wild that, like, I'm like, okay, I saw this already.
I agree. And I think we're not going to get a better match than that first one because there's no stakes. I believe if you said this has a number one contenders match stipulation to it, and even make Bobby Lashley the special guest referee, right? Like, that would be even more intrigue. And you just shot yourself in the foot and you said, no, Drew's going to go to WrestleMania. This is still going to happen, but we'll see what happens, down the road. But bye-bye. Keep going. Stupid. I could see, honestly, Sheamus winning by Bobby Lashley interfering, putting Drew McIntyre in the full Nelson or something like that, and then Sheamus gets the victory. But still, it's not going to be any consequence.
So, yeah, Sheamus, somehow gets the win, right? Because Bobby Lashley interferes, but then Sheamus keeps fucking around for like the next couple of weeks between here and there and be like, why is he getting the match, fella? I should be getting the match, right? Like, and he keeps sticking his nose in the business, but I don't want to see him in like some triple threat or anything, so I don't know where that story would ultimately lead. But
yeah, I don't know, but yeah,
other than why you disrespected Sheamus angle for him, but.
Again, this is where the difference for me personally, why I prefer AEW over WWE is I get AEW sometimes has a bomb that doesn't go off, but at least their stories are making sense over there. And here we're just going, last second decisions. Fuck it. Let's just do it and we'll figure it out later. And that's what this feels like.
Yeah. All right. We got an Intercontinental Championship match. Big E versus the totally not racist gimmick of Apollo Crews.
Yeah, this one's actually difficult. You think so, Big E?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see what you're saying. They strapped this new Apollo Crews character because it's
the new toy, right? It's the new shiny toy in WWE. So
let's Intercontinental title isn't something they like make sure is.
And the Intercontinental title would look great on an international talent like the Nigerian Apollo Crews, apparently. And so wouldn't be shocked. And then you get Big E's moment in front of a crowd at WrestleMania. You do the rematch at WrestleMania. I talked myself into it. I'm going Apollo Crews so that we get the surprise great moment for Big E.
Yeah, you're wrong. All right, the WWE Tag Team Championship: Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. And I'm a little worried this might actually go Banks and Belair, but probably not. The traditional thing here is get them fighting big time, and then that leads us into them no longer being played nice. Now they're actually enemies for the next couple of weeks, this is the WWE method. But
death, taxes, and the champion and number one contender have to go for the tag team championships right before WrestleMania. I feel like we've been doing this for as long as there's been, black and white televisions. I think this is just going to be Sasha gets tired of Bianca holding her down, maybe super kicks her in the face. Bianca takes the pinfall loss. Now Bianca's pissed at Sasha, and we go to WrestleMania with a clear heel and a clear baby face. I don't know. Another story. If I just tell you Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, isn't that going to be fun? You would say, yep. And then they go, great, we're going to fuck that up. They tell us this story. It's just not good, man.
Yeah, I don't like it. The Universal Championship on the lines. Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns wins. They're going to have Roman Reigns as the champ.
So what we don't know yet, because again, we record on a Thursday night, is tomorrow night on SmackDown, we're going to get Jey Uso versus Edge. Whoever wins that becomes a special enforcer for the Roman Reigns Daniel Bryan match. I think this is where Edge gets the victory on SmackDown. Edge is the special enforcer. I feel Daniel Bryan might get really close to winning. And Edge says, you asshole, I wanted to fight Roman Reigns, not you. And then gets a spear on Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns gets the victory, kind of looks at Edge, is like, okay, man, see you in 3 weeks. And then Edge looks down at Daniel Bryan, and somehow through Adam Pearce announcing that he's in the match or something, Daniel Bryan gets him put. Yeah, Daniel Bryan gets in there, and then we get triple threat.
I could see this triple threat that you're saying, but you're right. I don't think it's because Daniel Bryan wins the title and then it's Roman Reigns gets a rematch, but Edge is still the number one contender, so we've got to do the three-way, which is a believable story, but I don't think they're going to have Roman Reigns on the chase here as the head of the table, the table, tribal chief, excuse me. I'm the table chief.
You're the table chief, yes.
So I think you're right. I like that booking almost better, where Daniel Bryan's going to win. He pulled it out of his ass. He's going to win, and Edge doesn't hit that third
count.
Looks at him, and then Jey Uso comes in and bop, and then roll up lays Roman Reigns on top. They're standing around like, why is Edge helping? Edge counts that 3 and then goes, It's not you, man. It's me. Like you've been jealous of me coming back because you can't do what I did when you came back, and this was my moment. And you keep trying to sneak in on it because you think you deserve it. Newsflash: I deserve it because I won the Royal Rumble, not you, right? Like, and then they're fighting, they're brawling, and that's where you know what I mean. It could even be a match, and then Edge does something sneaky there, right? Where Edge is kind of this tweener, right? And he gives him the Kansas City cunt punt, and Adam Pearce is like, oh, I've had enough of this. All three of you. You know, all three of you, match, Mania. Why not? And there we go.
It feels weird, though, on the road to WrestleMania, your most intriguing character, Roman Reigns, is taking a back seat to this now friction between Edge and Daniel Bryan. I find that interesting. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I mean, unless you have any more thoughts on this match, this match isn't on here, but they announced it. On Raw, so I don't know why it's not on their website here. WWE, we were shitting on AEW not updating their website, but the Raw Tag Team Championships will be on the line. Or is it SmackDown I'm thinking of? Or it's Raw. It's AJ Styles.
Oh, yeah.
Almost, and the New Day.
No, that's at WrestleMania.
Oh, that's Mania. Okay.
That's Mania. Yeah.
Mania. Yeah.
But again,
which we'll talk about in Tweet the Table, so we don't even have to talk about that. We'll talk
but
about
again, that proves the point of why the fuck are we doing Fastlane when we're just announcing matches for WrestleMania?
Yeah, I was like, okay, we got a tag match. Yeah, I was thinking pay-per-view. You just said it.
Yeah.
You fucking me. Yeah, all right. So, yeah, more on that match later. But, yeah, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Edge, Mania. I mean, I guess, fine.
Can you explain to me, because I still don't understand the logic of why Edge has an issue with Daniel Bryan. I don't understand what his beef is with Daniel Bryan. I understand Daniel Bryan's perspective of, hey, this could be my last WrestleMania. I don't have too many years in me. I need this one last shot.
I would say it's that. Like, it's the same thing that would lead to Edge, not giving Daniel Bryan the win here. It's like, no, man, this was my time. This was my spot. You say you deserve a Mania spot. You don't. And you know why? You don't deserve this spot because I won the fucking Royal Rumble. Well, I came back out of nowhere. You're stealing my spotlight, trying to shove me out of the way. Guess what? You're old news. They liked you then. They don't now. It's me, right? Like just that.
And I get that if Edge's spot wasn't confirmed. Like the champion doesn't matter. Edge is still facing the champion. It could be fucking, Repo Man if you fucking want it to be. It's still Edge taking on the champion. Right? Like, why not? Let's have some fun. But I don't understand why Edge is so against. Now, we've already done this storyline before. You could possibly say Edge thinks that, his drawing power against Roman Reigns will have more eyes than his drawing power against Daniel Bryan. But then we're flirting with the B+ player kind of story for Daniel Bryan. But I just still don't get the logic of why Edge, who has his spot guaranteed, is pissed off that Daniel Bryan, like, I want to face you. Like, okay, then I'll fucking fight you too. Like, that's how he should be thinking, I would think. But I don't know. And again, like I asked you earlier, Roman Reigns just hanging out. Going to the movies. Here's my belt. Jey Uso, where's your brother? Get him in line too. Like, what in the hell are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? That's Fastlane. I mean, the appendix of WWE pay-per-views, so that's all we can say about it, I guess. We'll just move on, huh? Because this is your chance, ladies and gentlemen, listening to me, watching me right now. Go to SpanishAnnounceTable.net. You're going to find all the links you need there, right? Some of those links are going to be this podcast right here. You can find us on the Google Podcast, the Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. Got that up and running. YouTube, where you can watch us. You can look at our pretty faces. Tom's Hot Tom. You can see Hot Tom. God, who doesn't want to see Hot Tom? You can find that. You can find PayPal if you want to donate us some money because, look, Hot Tom spent some money.
I'm spending that money, boy. Spending that money.
All other kinds of stuff, right? We've got the links to the TikTok, the YouTube, the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram, all of that shiz. Find us there. But Twitter, we're going to hone in on right now. If you follow us at Table Show, even if you don't, you know how Twitter works. You can use hashtag #TweetTheTable. Talk about wrestling. We're going to read some of the best of them right here on the show. And I've got 3 of them picked out, Tom.
And by the way, join us while we live tweet during AEW Dynamite. Every Wednesday night, we get in there and talk about what we're seeing.
Events sometimes, WWE events. You never know. So you should follow us because we may be live tweeting at any moment. You never know.
But we absolutely definitely do it during AEW Dynamite. Right. So join the conversation there too. Hashtag TweetTheTable. Let's get into them.
At the Iceman Forever is our first hashtag TweetTheTable of the evening. And he says, what's up with John Morrison's hair here lately? Hashtag TweetTheTable. Now, I don't know if Iceman, if people know the Iceman, may know why he's honing in on John Morrison's hair here. I thought it was glorious. I don't know what, I don't know if he's jealous is the Iceman here, but it's heel heat. Right?
It is heel heat. I think it would be fun if we went into a story of why he's doing it, though. Right. I think it would be fun if we understand, do you understand what it's like to be Miz's friend for this long? You end up looking like this.
Yeah, look at this.
What the fuck's happening to me? Yeah, exactly. I think we should tell a story with the hair because, the hair is the most interesting thing right now with John Morrison, and there ain't much else. But that is very fun to look at. And again, to your point, it is heel heat.
Mm-hmm. At Katie First Lady chimes in, and she wants to talk about the tag team championships that we were talking about earlier. And she says, we need legitimate tag teams. Hashtag TweetTheTable. And I kind of agree. Now, look, we want to get Almas out there and show, maybe he's going to do more than we're expecting, which I agree. There's going to be some cool spots. And the New Day needs a spot. And AJ Styles needs a spot. And all three of those guys in a ring together are going to do some cool stuff. But
and protect Omos.
How are we supposed to take the structure of your organization and these tag team titles any kind of seriously if immediately upon New Day beating somebody, out comes AJ Styles and Omos, who are not a tag team, and get to say, we're going to WrestleMania, tag team us, and they go, okay, you got it, as if even the champs get to say who they're facing at WrestleMania. All of this was just Jesus, guys, none of this is real.
Yeah, again, this is where logic runs out the door because what are we doing? I think this is where the old storytelling of we have a heel management person in charge that they could rely on. Back in the day when it was Shane or Stephanie or Vince or Triple H, they could just say, New Day, we don't like you. So your punishment, it's going to be against AJ Styles and Omos. And you go, oh, shit, that sucks. But now that they have abandoned the heel authority figure, they still want to do matches like this, but they have no way of telling you the story because that tried and true way of authority figure makes the decision is not there, so they're just left going, just point at the sign. If you point at the sign, you go. And then if they agree, then they do it. And it's okay, cool, fucking dumb.
Yeah, I don't think any of this is going to be good for much. I mean, the match will be fine, but
the match is going to be fun. Look, when we get to WrestleMania, I think the spectacle of watching Omos throw Kofi Kingston to the 7th row because that row has been abandoned for COVID protocol is going to be fucking great. I think it's going to be so much fun to see what Omos can do to guys who want to make him look good. But the story to get there is the shits.
At Jay Summers 330 chimes in and he says Britt Baker has to be AEW Women's Champion by the end of the year, right? Hashtag TweetTheTable. Yeah, by the end of the year, do you think? That's a long time. So by the end of the year, I would kind of guess so. And again, I don't disagree with what he's saying there. Britt Baker should 1,000,000% be the champion, but so should Thunder Rosa. I think Thunder Rosa as the Mexican fighting champion that will take on all challengers, I think that's a compelling story. And so let's not forget that Thunder Rosa, I think, also deserves to be a champion in AEW. So both of those ladies need to be champs soon. That was hashtag TweetTheTable, and you can play along. It's just as simple as that. Use hashtag TweetTheTable, and we might talk about you. We might tell everybody how great you are and what your thoughts are and, whether they suck or not. Now, if you're not on Twitter and you don't want to get on Twitter, or you got more to say than the character limits that Twitter provides, we have a solution for you. It is fucking email us. tableshow@gmail.com. And we've got one of those.
Hey!
It's from John Batten. So I remind you to hashtag be like John Batten and email the show, tableshow@gmail.com. And he says, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Christian Cage's catchphrase is outwork everyone. I don't think AEW has reminded of us of that enough.
That's his catchphrase?
That's his catchphrase. Thanks, John Batten. You can email us the show and let us know something, too, that we must have missed. I missed that completely. That it is out. Let me read this. Work everyone. Outwork everyone. Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Does he have like a shirt that says it?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, right.
I can't think of it if he does.
Christian Cage. Outwork.
Does AEW really invest in the t-shirts? Do they?
Yeah.
They should partner with a t-shirt company, and I bet you, man, that would take them to the next level.
So you email the show. You hashtag be like John Batten, tableshow@gmail.com, or you use hashtag #TweetTheTable. We'll have some interaction. You can respond to the folks tweeting the table too. Don't feel like this is just for us. Join the community. Get involved. Follow us on the YouTube. You know, the podcast, all the stuff. Donate us some money. And I mean, come on. Hot Tom, right? I mean, look at Hot Tom. Why wouldn't you want to watch us on the YouTube? YouTube.com/SpanishAnnounceTube. We need subscribers. We need likes. Give us all that shit. And what else, Tom?
We need to talk to you. That's what we're needing to do. We miss you. We miss talking to you. We miss hearing from you. Join the community. We will also obviously be a part of that conversation. Like Tim said, if you want to hashtag tweet the table, you see someone else who did hashtag tweet the table and you say, that fucking person I disagree with. Well, hashtag tweet the table and respond to them. And we will get that conversation on the podcast. So yeah, we want to hear from you more and more. tableshow@gmail.com for those longer form thoughts or those quick random thoughts that you have about the wacky world of pro wrestling. Hashtag tweet the table.